Virginia Beach remains a city in mourning today after three days after a gunman shot and killed 12 people inside a municipal building. CBS's Katherine Johnson reports from Virginia Beach.
The victims of the Virginia Beach shooting were remembered during vigils at a pair of local churches on Sunday.
They thought that it would just be another day.
The dead include 11 city employees and a local contractor who was applying for a permit.
I felt something, a presence behind me, and I turned around and there Dwayne was.
Survivors described their encounters with the gunman, a longtime colleague named Dwayne Craddock.
Looked straight in my face, and he did not see me standing there, because he didn't raise the gun.
The only reason I can think that he did not shoot me or didn't aim at me is because he and I used to walk in from the parking lot together in the morning.
Craddock died after being wounded during a shootout with police. More than 48 hours later, investigators are still stumped as to what his motive was. Hours before the shooting, he emailed a resignation note to a manager. The 40-year-old had worked for the city for about 15 years and had a clean record.
He was in good standing within his department, and that there were no issues of discipline ongoing.
Police say Craddock legally owned the 2 handguns used in the attack. Katherine Johnson, CBS News, Virginia Beach.
Virginia Beach city offices will remain closed today but are expected to reopen tomorrow. The city is trying to raise money to help offset the victims' funeral costs. President Trump is in London today for the start of a 3-day state visit to the UK. This evening, the president and first lady will be the guests of honor at a banquet hosted by Queen Elizabeth at Buckingham Palace. Tomorrow, President Trump will join British Prime Minister Theresa May at St. James's Palace for a meeting of business leaders. On Wednesday, President Trump will attend a ceremony to mark the 75th anniversary of D-Day. A sigh of relief across the state of Montana. 2 victims of March's shooting in western Montana are now home. MTM's Lauren Heiser takes a look back at their long journey.
Missoula police received reports of gunfire and 3 victims shot near Stone Creek Lodge at Expressway in Missoula shortly before 11 p.m. on March 14th. Julie Blanchard had gone to pick up her son Casey Blanchard and his friend Shelley Hayes at a local bar. Court documents say the suspect followed them, flashing his lights. When they pulled over to see if something was wrong, he opened fire. Shelley Hayes was dead when officers arrived on scene. Hayes was a father, and according to those who knew him best, his entire world revolved around his little girl. Early in the morning on March 15th, while pursuing the suspect, Trooper Wade Palmer reported to dispatch that he was under fire. He was ambushed and shot in his patrol car. The next officer to arrive on scene found Palmer still seatbelted in his vehicle. The suspect was caught by law enforcement after a 7-hour manhunt along U.S. Highway 93 North. Both Trooper Palmer and Casey Blanchard were badly injured. Palmer had been shot in the face, head, and neck. Blanchard was shot in the left arm, right side of his chest, spine, abdomen, and both legs. Both were transferred to a hospital in Utah. The incident stunned all of Montana and was discussed throughout the nation. But now, Trooper Palmer and Casey Blanchard are finally home. The community of Stevensville, where both Blanchard and Palmer reside, made sure to show their support and give these 2 men a hero's welcome home.
One of the nicest guys, the most genuine people you can ask for. They're just good individuals that have done their job their entire lives.
Attorney General Tim Fox spoke at a press conference when Palmer returned home.
I want to recognize the Fraternal Order of Police, Utah chapter, who took care of the family's needs and the Montana Highway Patrol's needs, and indeed the needs of even some of the shooting victims who were ultimately transferred to the same hospital that Wade was in, Casey Blanchard and his wife Leah in particular. All of these organizations and individuals, including the Utah Highway Patrol, really went above and beyond the call to really take care of one of their own.
These men are now sleeping in their own beds in their hometown. But some of the most difficult challenges may be still yet to come.
Number one, that we all respect the privacy of Wade and his family, but that we continue to act in ways of love and support, not only for Wade and Lindsay and their family, but for all of the victims and their families of that shooting that tragic night. All of these individuals are worthy of our love and support, That's what Montana does best.
In Missoula, Lauren Heiser, MTN News.
And if you want to know more on how to help, information can be found on our website at ktvq.com. A 31-year-old lame deer man was killed in a single vehicle rollover crash over the weekend. The crash happened around 7:30 Sunday morning in Rosebud County. According to Montana Highway Patrol, the Chevy Impala was traveling west on Highway 212 at mile marker 39 when the car went off the right side of the road. It then overcorrected back to the left side, causing the vehicle to roll multiple times. The car came to rest in the eastbound lane. The driver was ejected and died on scene. Speed is considered a factor in the crash. This is the 50th fatal crash on Montana roadways this year. Back here in Billings, you may have noticed increased traffic in downtown Billings around 3rd Avenue North and Broadway. This is because the Alberta Bear Theater has been closed for an ongoing renovation project that started on May 6th. Q2's David J. talked with the theater's management about the project and the construction's progress.
Crews work on the renovation of the Alberta Bear Theater.
They're right on track where they want to be, and it's certainly interesting to watch the changes every day and how much they accomplish.
Jan Dietrich, the executive director of the theater, says the demolition part involved taking out what was constructed in 1987.
They needed to take down that atrium part of the theater that was added so that we can come out over the sidewalks and gain the additional lobby space.
It's quite amazing to look at this part of the demolition and think about the improvements that are ahead. But for those involved in the project, they can see it all coming together.
Because we've been working on these plans now for 2 years or longer, I can't envision it, and I can hardly wait. The windows throughout the building over the additional space, and so that'll provide light into the space for the patrons, but also in the evening when it shows an event is happening, people on the outside will be able to see, what am I missing?
Some changes will help the performers.
There's so many things that go into it that really does need to be there for the production. We need to be able to provide that for them if we want to be able to present the kind of artists that the community wants.
Is this fun for you to see it from this window every day?
I love it. I love it.
David J., MTN News, Billings.
David tells us renovation is expected to be finished in the fall of 2020. In the meantime, the Alberta Bear Theater will host shows at the Babcock Theater, MSUB's Petro Theater, and the Billings Public Schools Lincoln Center Auditorium. Stick with us here on Montana This Morning. Still ahead, what was supposed to be a celebration turned into a nightmare for one Texas family when they discover their graduation cake isn't made of cake at all. We'll tell you what they cut into when we look at world headlines. It's 59 degrees in downtown Billings and the time is now 6:09. Stay with us.
You're watching MTN News with Victoria Hill and Storm Tracker weather with Ed McIntosh. This is Montana This Morning on Q2, Montana's news leader.